Hey, it's me, Tammy B, and this is my review for the haves and the have-nots. Oh my goodness, you guys. So it was so good. And the crazy thing is I fell asleep last night, y'all. I was waiting for it and I fell asleep. I woke up like 4 or 6, no, it was like 1 or 2 in the morning, and I was like, oh, I fell asleep. But at that point, I was too tired, y'all. So I caught it first thing this morning. Oh my gosh, it was so good. So we start right where we left off, you guys. So Jim is getting interviewed on live TV, and Celine and her 2 sons are there, who just revealed that, they are Jim's sons. So everybody is dead quiet, you guys. So they pan to Jim. He's like, what do you have to say about it? They pan to Catherine, and she just got this evil look on it, like this eyebrow raised, like, see, I knew I should have took care of this all along. Because you guys know, Catherine is the one with all the money. Catherine was rich before she met Jim, and Jim like married her, and he's been able to kind of get some of the perks from her being rich and her being affiliated. I think her father was somebody, so she looking like, oh, you done ruined everything, my reputation, my family name, my money, like, woo. I can't wait to hear what Catherine has to say about all this, you guys. So Celine said she really didn't want to do it, but the son did. So the son, I believe his name is Carlos, he talks, and he was like, it's too late for apologies, but my little brother is still young, and he does need a dad. And he was like, I don't think Jim should run for governor, because he's a bad governor. If he can't even keep his household in check, how is he gonna keep the city in check? Like, oh, you got my mom and your 2 kids like living in the hood, like you don't care about poverty, or you don't care about living conditions, because you don't even care about the ones with your kids. So that's what Carlos was saying. Maggie trying to shut it down. She telling the cameraman, cut it. He's like, it's live TV. Veronica all snickering. So anyway, Celine has some DNA. I wonder where she get DNA from. Now, granted, okay, 28 years, like, clearly you have DNA. You wash his clothes, you wash his plate, like, so clearly you can get it easily. But Celine got kicked out like 2 weeks ago. Like, you've been holding some sperm from 7 years ago. Like, what kind of DNA does she have? Like, and that's gonna stay fresh. Like, or was she just that smart that she was like, oh yeah, I'm going to keep this sperm and store it just in case something ever happened, or even saliva, blood, wherever it is. Like, did you get it the last time you went over there, or have you had it stored somewhere safe? Because I don't want to say we all know to make it seem like it's common knowledge, but DNA has to be stored at a certain temperature and with certain conditions. So even if you did, still a condom from 1998, like, it's not going to still work. So I don't know. We'll see. So Maggie ends up pouring water on the equipment, so the camera goes blank. So the camera guy's like, this is expensive equipment. She's like, I don't care. So Maggie cuss out the Diane interviewer lady, y'all. She's like, this is not an interview. You're doing like tabloid stuff. And she was like, well, I got the story, so I just had to air to ask the question. So Maggie kicked old girl out. And that's the only time that I was here for Maggie. I mean, don't get me wrong, Maggie, she does seem to be a good campaign manager. It's her side affairs that's the problem. But yeah, I am so glad that, not that I'm on Jim's side, but I was here for how Maggie shut down old girl. Let's say that. So boom, then Maggie kicks everybody out, and it's just all this commotion. A few things happen in that scene, and I'm gonna just hurry up and get to it, kind of run it down. So Maggie shuts it down, kicks everybody out. Then Jim goes into the main office and he kicks everybody out. He was like, everybody go home for the day. Now, okay, as an employee, yeah, I would be happy to hear that, but I'm like, people just literally got up from their desk and left, didn't shut down, control, alt, delete. I don't know, at my job, like, you can't leave certain stuff up. And I would feel at a campaign office, you shouldn't do that either. But at the same time, his most deepest, darkest secret then got exposed on TV. So what could they have on them computers? So I guess in that case, but dang, I'm like, nobody grabbed no purse. Nobody went to the lunchroom to grab their lunch. So I know I'd be happy if my boss be like, everybody go home. But I would still have to shut down, grab my purse, go get my lunch or something. But they just jumped up and left. But hey, they working for Jim, so maybe they know how he roll. So Veronica says something smart like, "Oh, even though it's crazy, this is what happens when you don't keep your affairs in order." And Maggie eyebrow raised like, "Huh, I wouldn't be the one to talk." And I know that she was talking about, "Hey, you sleeping with somebody too, you know?" But Veronica clapped back, you guys, and Veronica keeps winning every time you think. Cause soon as Maggie said that, I was like, "Uh oh, here we go." But no, Veronica clapped back. And she just wanted to expose it. She was like, "Jim or David, keep your whore away from me." Catherine's like, "What you talking about?" So she finally revealed in front of everybody. Jim, David, everybody. Look, I saw Maggie in a hotel with my husband, and now they flaunting themselves in front of my face. So yeah, I'm about to talk to Maggie crazy. And Catherine's like, "Dang, you didn't tell me that." She was like, "Well, now you know. Come by my new house and we'll talk some more." So Veronica was not, don't care no more as far as trying to hide the secret about David and Maggie being caught in the hotel room. And then Maggie just, even though she know about Veronica sleeping with Benny, she shut it up when that came out because yeah, here she is trying to save Jim in front of everybody. But hey, she got a little scandal behind her back too, even though we know that they didn't actually have sex. But hey, you know, that definitely shut Maggie Day up. So then Veronica mentions to Jim. Oh, because Jim tell Veronica like, "Oh, get out. I don't have time for all this gloating and ha-ha." And then Veronica hinted that she knew about Wyatt. So instantly, you guys, Jim strangled Veronica. And it was just like, oh my gosh. Like, he pulled her over the desk and strangled her. So David ran and came and like, "Get off my wife. Like, are you crazy?" You know, like at the end of the day, whether she did it or not, that's still my wife. And so Jim asked him like, "Did you know about this?" He was like, "No, I didn't know the exact details of what happened, but I knew something was up." And he's like, "Don't lie. You knew." Jim is telling David, "Don't lie. You knew because you the one who told me to go there." He was like, "I don't know everything." And I think at this point, David still doesn't know, right? So Jim strangled her, y'all. Like, but I'm just like, okay, we all know Veronica got some stuff coming to her, but I didn't like the fact it was a man strangling a woman. And I did not like the fact that he called her a B word. Like, I know she is, but I don't know. You know, I guess it's just because Jim still got that lawyer plantation owner tease. So sometimes when he talk to certain people, it's just like, wait, what? So I don't know, him calling her a B word and strangling her, I was just like, oh, but hey. So anyway, Veronica got up, dusted her shoulders off, and walked out, you guys. So Catherine asked Jim, like, what was that all about? So I guess Catherine gonna end up finding out, because right now, yeah, she don't know her best friend, Veronica, got her son raped. So the next scene is with Quincy and his sister. His sister seems to be the ringleader of the operation, y'all. Quincy all beat up, sitting there with a scowl on his face, and then the sister's like, you need to fix this. You need to get Benny. You need to go get that baby. You want me to call Candace? I'll call Candace. I was like, oh, you got Candace's number like that? Like, you know, but so the sister is just trying to get Quincy to get his little mojo back. Like, I know you beat up. You need to get well. You need to go get the kid back so my check won't go down. And I'm like, that's crazy. The first thing, I mean, I get it, but she not even thinking about anything about the son, if he's happy or healthy or nothing. She was like, if you don't go get that baby, my check gonna go down. I was like, oh, girl. So then the police come, and the funny thing is, like, she asked that you have a warrant, and they didn't answer and just open the door. She still did it anyway. I feel like when you're versed enough with the police to know what they need to knock on the door and ask you questions, then don't give in when they just keep asking. Like, that's their tactic. If you said, do you have a warrant, and they didn't answer or just open the door, then no, don't. I mean, in this case, I want her to get caught because child abuse is crazy. But I'm just saying, when you aren't guilty of something, I don't see why she went to the door. Like, she seems smart, like a ringleader, but I don't know. She's not too smart, clearly. So then the police questions Quincy's sister. And she looked like, look, I don't have the kid. He wasn't in my care. He been by his grandma's house and his uncle's house. So basically, the sister snitched on Hannah and Benny, saying, oh, well, if he in the hospital, Hannah and Benny is the one that must have did it. So the lawyer took some notes, or the police took some notes, and gave her a card and was like, if you hear anything, call her, or can you call the social worker to get some details? And she was like, I don't know nothing. I don't have no answers. Get from around my house. So I don't know where that's going to lead. So then Landon goes to visit Jeffrey. So all this stuff just happened at the campaign office. And even though, did y'all catch that? Even though Landon don't like Veronica, he was helping Jim. Well, Landon was helping David get Jim off Veronica. Clearly because, he is working for Jim and he doesn't want to get the guy he's working for like a case or whatever. So he probably was doing his job. But we all know Landon was doing his job when he so-called let Veronica get ate up by the press. So I was surprised that Landon helped stop Jim from killing Veronica or choking Veronica out. But Landon did help. So now he's showing up at Jeffrey's apartment, hotel room to let him know what happened. Jeffrey's in the room with Wyatt, you guys, and Wyatt all asleep, and Jeffrey all looking at him, all lingering. So then Landon comes. So Jeffrey steps outside. So Landon's like, you got somebody in there? At first, he didn't confirm or deny, but he eventually let him know that Jeffrey is in there. And Landon was just trying to say, look, I'm sorry. Like, here's a peace offering. I guess he bought him a little flag, the little we surrender flag or whatever, just like as a peace offering and some wine to like, hey, let's try again. And Wyatt was like, I'm not into you. I was like, not Wyatt, Jeffrey, you guys. Jeffrey was told, Landon, I'm not into you. Jeffrey was being a player. I feel like they both was being a player. Like, I feel like Landon was coming smooth, coming with some wine, coming with some peace offering, So if a guy did that to me, I'd be like, oh, that's kind of nice. And then Jeffrey, to me, he was being a player. Like, nah, I'm good. At first it seemed like he was coming off with I don't love them hoes type vibe, but he was just letting them know. Eventually he broke down and told the truth. Like, look, I'm in love with somebody, and that's it. Maybe I shouldn't love them, maybe I should, but it's hard to just not love somebody. And while I'm in love with this person, and we all know he talking about Wyatt, I don't want to be twiddling with nobody else. So Jeffrey eventually kept it real. Veronica ended up coming up, you guys, and she dissed Landon, called him a girl, and she called him something else. So basically Veronica was like, why you ain't been to see Melissa? Jeffrey was like, cause I don't want to. And Veronica was like, oh, well, she having your baby. So now Landon knows. Landon's like, what? And Jeffrey just like, look, mom, get out of here. I don't care that you got the car. I don't care about Melissa. I don't care about the apartment. I don't care about the credit cards. You keep blackmailing me. It's done. He kisses Landon. So now Veronica know, like, dang, you gonna do this in front of my face? Like, you really don't care. But she always got something up her sleeve. So Veronica's like, you sure? And so she walked away. And Landon even asked Jeffrey, like, dang, you sure you want to make her that mad? And Jeffrey just like, look, at this point, I don't care no more. Because that is true. What can you do? At this point, either put me in jail, cut me off, or what? Like, all these threats is not working. You can't just keep threatening to beat somebody up over and over and over again. Like, either something gonna happen or it's not, So I'm glad Jeffrey is kind of over just all the threats. Because I just couldn't see living myself. Whatever the blackmail issue is, like, after a while, I would get tired of it too. Like, look, you either gonna do something to me or not, because I can't be living my life on edges. So it was cool to see Jeffrey kind of step up to his mom. The next thing, Benny visits Hannah, you guys. And I was like, look at all the men in the show being players today. Like I said, I felt like Landon and Jeffrey was both being players in their own respective way with their talk. And now Benny all waiting outside at Hannah's job. It was almost like your boo waiting on you. Like, you had a hard day, you all limping out of work, and he show up like, oh, let's kick it. And I bought you this car. So I was like, I know that's his mom, but he was all chilling, looking cute, like, just waiting. So Hannah like, what you doing here? And I like this part too. He was like, look, we've been at odds lately, and I don't like that. And so that's nice too, when a man can acknowledge that stuff has been tense. Because, most of the time, they just be ignoring it. So Hannah was like, yeah, that's true. And she smiled, and she was like, oh, where you get this car? And he was like, it's your car. And she was like, yeah, I thought you totaled my car. And he was like, this is the one I got from the tow yard. So instantly, she started asking questions, like, where you get this car from? Like, so sometimes it's annoying. Like, come on, Hannah. He trying to be nice. He apologizing for being at odds. He coming to pick you up at work. Just roll with him, But then on the same side, every time somebody get caught up, you be like, oh, somebody just picked you up in a new car and you didn't ask no questions. You know what I'm saying? So let's just say, God forbid, like, this whole thing is a fluke, but, let's just say they did get pulled over, and then Hannah and Benny did go to jail, So in that sense, it was right for Hannah to ask, like, before I get in this car, because what happened to the car before last, like, where'd you get it from? So I kind of understand it, but it's like, Hannah, sometimes come on, just take a niceness and move on. So Hannah's still suspicious, but he was like, whatever. I got something else I want to show you. Oh, I want to take you to the tow yard. So he takes her to the tow yard. So she looks around and admits that it's nice, but she's still hesitant, you know? So he could see, like, what's wrong? I thought you're happy for me. She was like, yeah, I am. But you could still tell she's still skeptical. Now, this is another instance where I should be like, you know, she should have been more happy for her son. Don't get me wrong. I understand instinct, but at least be like, oh, I'm so proud of you. Give him a hug or whatever. She just kept asking questions. So the owner was this? And they just gave it to you, and it's just 30%, like da 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 da. Like, come on now, just be like, oh, congratulations, and maybe just be there for him when it all blows over, or whatever. So then he tell her he had another surprise, and after that, I knew he was going to the house. You guys, I'm like, that's too much all in one day. The car, showing her the place and the house. To me, that was too much in one day. You are look how suspicious she been in at the first two things. But hey, you know, the story must go on. So he pulls up to the house and takes her in it. And she's like, whose house is this? And she was like, ours. So instantly she was like, no, that's too much. You need to work and get your own house. Because Benny told him, oh, the owner gave me the house and the place.